Hello, and this is your Pluto report, sign by sign, going over each rising sign, giving you really good insight on where Pluto is, how it's affecting your air signs and all of your chart, and Saturn and Uranus, how it's affecting those two planets as well. So gather around. This is part 2 of Pluto. All right. So a couple things I want you to note here before we get into this is we've got 23 years of Uranus and Saturn connected to Pluto moving through our charts. And I just want you to see the length. These are two slow moving, just to give you a perspective on like Pluto will be in one place. Saturn will be going more than halfway around the chart. There's going to be a lot of structures being built, a lot of things being broken down, a lot of discipline taking place. Uranus is going over 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll be in 4 signs by the end of this period. So this change is going to be really happening on a large level while you transform with Pluto. Okay. And the energy of that we got to get to 2 degrees of Pluto being in Aquarius before that limits and that restrictions loses itself and becomes the next energy. So you're going to have to hold tight. This is like a year and maybe some change in the making before this tightness, or this is what we're transforming. All these transformations in this new sign will be taking place. Okay. Aries. I want you to note here that I have squared off all of, if you're listening to this, your air signs, because because Aquarius is like the oldest air, it encompasses all the air. So Pluto moved through there, you're going to feel it in your air houses, okay? Where your houses are that contain air. And then I triangled Saturn and Uranus just to give you an idea of where this energy is, probably till mid next year. And I circled Pluto because Pluto is in a specific house, and we'll go over each of these aspects. So first thing you need to know is that you've got Pluto in the 11th house. Okay. That's your house of Aquarius. And with this distinction here, it's going to be a lot about your network, the people that align with you creatively, right? That could be your friends, that could be your social network, that could be your customers, all of the people that you have a message that you want to, that you utilize to get your creative message across. And that creative message is just kind of like how you create, right? So I want you to think about how you create, the partnerships you form within that creation, and if they are balanced with your belief systems, who you came here to be. This, and even from a, like I would just say from a career perspective, because the 11th house is prominent and it usually is like where your customers come from. It's almost like you have to lean into your community, learn to communicate with your community, learn to form valuable partnerships, and it's going to transform this area of your life, the people who align with your mission. Okay. And remember, those are soul contracts, are part of partnership. That's a mission. 11th house, those people are the reflections in the mirrors, the friends, the social media followers, the newsletter subscribers, the people in your reality field who engage with you based on who you are. Okay. Or who you came here to be. All right, Aries, to summarize this, look for the right partnerships, build the right bridge, don't people please. Look towards your community and your mindset, your past experiences, that education that you came into the world with, I would say, the education that was pushed on you in the world from your lower childhood, right? Those past experiences, where you learned from them, where you didn't learn from them, where you're still holding grudges from them, where you still might have traumas associated with them. And then I want you to, it's going to evolve you. And this form of communication is necessary for your partners, for the audience or the people out there who gravitate towards you. This is kind of like, again, it's even your friends, not just your career social network. It's the people that you align with. And it's not necessarily your bestie, which is over here in the 7th house, the one you like really hook to, but the other people in your reality field and how they are fitting into your community, fitting into your partnerships. If they feel good, if they feel right, they're going to be transforming in some way. All right. All right, Taurus. So Taurus rising, you've got Pluto right at your midheaven. It is a very big marker for you this year. Okay. And it's in your 10th house. It might be in your ninth house a little bit, or your 10th house. Okay. But we're talking about your 10th house. This is your career. This is your Midas touch. This is what you do all day, right? When you are not at home, where else you put your energy. Okay. And that could be career, that could be volunteering, that could be whatever this mission is that you came in with. All right. This is where, you really might focus a lot on the community, the collective. You, with an Aquarius hosting your 10th house, it's going to be a lot about, the greater reality, the other, seeing things from this balanced place, from a larger perspective for the collective. Okay. Focusing in on how you connect with your daily habits and your values, what you value, the tangible assets you bring in, the way that you treat yourself on a day-to-day basis is going to affect your career. It's going to transform it. Okay. With Saturn in your 11th house, you're structuring your discipline around the way that you reach your collective, your fan base, your friendships, your people that you partner with in this reality field is changing. It could be a new website. It could be just the way that you communicate with them. It could be there's something new birthing from this experience that is going to be exciting, where the structure is shifting and changing. And this is an area where you host a lot of intuition. So you kind of know who you're supposed to be around and where you're supposed to be. Allow that structure to take you there. And with Uranus in your first house, about to leave your first house, you've gone through a lot of changes. People don't see you the way that they used to see you. Okay. That's a good thing. You evolved into a new version of yourself. Allow the change to complete gently, knowing that it's for your highest good. And as that change takes place, consider where your values are, how you attune, how you connect to those values. All right. And how your day-to-day expresses those values in real time. So you say you like to spend time with your friends, but on a day-to-day basis, you don't be calling nobody or connected with anybody. Do you know what I mean? Like how these two things can be, if your values don't actually match up with what you do, that you don't really get anywhere. You got to be able to keep both of these balanced to get the results of the transformation from the highest good. It's just getting darker and darker over here because it's storming outside. Okay, Gemini. Hello, my dear Gemini. Okay. So you've got Aquarius coming in, you've got Pluto coming into Aquarius in your ninth house. Higher education, international travel, how you connect to source, how you connect to your beliefs, how you connect to your higher self. Don't think of this so black and white in the way of like religion, right? It's just literally how you kind of align with your consciousness. That is the sign to me of the ninth house. And just like how you develop and gain higher wisdom. That's the journey that you're going on. To get to higher wisdom, you might usually have to go through something to kind of like catalyze your belief system in a way, I want to say. And with your air signs being the first house and the fifth house, it's going to be a lot about who you are and how you create in this reality field. Okay. That's something that I want you to think about. And I want you to think about the fifth house for a second. I wrote this down. Creation and experience are the foundational lessons of this house. This is the fifth house. How you create something, intention, action, emotion, and how you view, partake in, and adjust to the experience. How you emotionally get behind something for the best outcome. Partnered with experience opens new portals of experience. Does not matter what you create, a song, a business, a new friendship, a new route, learn something new. This energy is what expands the universe / the environment. So whatever wisdom and knowledge, it's going to create more creation for you. And if you participate in the creation process, it's from a place of authenticity, from a place of your higher self. That's what I'm going to say, of kind of like, this is the direction you're supposed to go in. then allowing that wisdom to build in the creation and allowing the creation to build in the wisdom and trying to do it as authentic as possible, you can't lose. Now with Saturn in your 10th house, it's going to redefine like how you spend your time when you're not like how you spend your free time. Okay. That could be work, that could be retirement, that could be hobbies, right? But it's restructuring this area. Something within this area is changing. And then again, you've got Taurus sitting, Uranus in your 12th house. Was Uranus in the 12th house in the last one? No, sorry. Uranus in your 12th house. And that's going to bring in a lot of change to kind of like how you experience your day to day. And again, in this subconscious area of your reality field, it's going to be changing some things there. So as you change these structures in the outer world, and you kind of redefine what your hobbies are, what your career is, what you do with your free time, bringing in that higher wisdom from Aquarius, it's going to be a lot about the collective. It's going to change and morph, how you decide to go about your day to day, like the results that come from that. So the 6th house is your days, your plan, it's your schedule, everything like that. The 12th house is like the results of how you spend your time, the results of your day-to-day beliefs, the results of your day-to-day habits and patterns. This is why it's also the house of prison and mental houses, because based on those day-to-days, you robbing and stealing, you might end up in jail. Okay. So this area of your life of like these results from what you do all day are going to be showing up for you to allow you to change some things. Okay. Before it sweeps into your first house, probably by the end of next year, to change kind of who you are. This information is going to be changing kind of how you see yourself in this world. And that's a really good thing. It's evolving. If you want to book a personal reading, I do the astrology, the human design, the gene keys. So I pull your full human design chart, I pull your full astrology chart, and then I pull your gene keys. So you get your timing. We look at your natal chart and we look at the transit charts. You get the human design, which is all about how your energy works on this planet, how you move throughout this reality field. And then you get your gene keys charts. And that is kind of like what shadows you have to transcend to get to the light. I would even call it like your challenges on this earth plane. All right. How to get through those. We go through each one of these. I pulled the chart like a week or two in advance to really delve into them before we talk. But by the end, you will know what you came here for, and it will help you determine what your mission is. You create your mission, but there are energy boundaries in place because you came in with the plan already. All right. It's a whole 2-hour session. So it's not, I don't do short. Okay. We go over all of it. You get to ask as many questions as you need to ask, but I don't want you to think this is like 30 minutes. We've got tarot cards to pull. There's channeling that's done. We clear energy. We take a long time on purpose. And you can schedule that at the link in the description where it says schedule your session. Now let's get back to this. Okay. So we are at Cancer rising. Okay. Now, Cancer, my dear Cancer rising, you've been doing a lot of work. Okay. So Pluto heading into your 8th house. This is all about how other people value you. Okay. So 2nd house is all about how you might value the self. The 8th house is how that value of the self, it's how it shows up in the actual world and how then people can value you based on how you value yourself. Okay. That's going to be transforming, and it's going to be playing with the energy of the 11th house again, and because of Taurus and Uranus and Saturn and Pisces in the 9th house. We'll talk about those. Let me go through the air first. So Gemini, 12th house, 4th house of family with Libra. So, all right, the roots, the foundations, what you call home. There's something there with you're starting to see the results of your day-to-day work and how that's feeling with you, how you feel about your family based on what you are doing every single day. And is going to be coming in and asking the question of where your value lies and if your role is being valued. That's what I'm going to say. Transforming that value by showing it to you in the external world, your mirror, so that you can switch those values within yourself. Okay. Now, this is going to be partnered with your ninth house with Saturn as this discipline and this structure comes in about kind of like how those belief systems that you inherently have, how they're helping you out in the real world. All right. So if you're talking good to yourself, if you're treating yourself well, if you're lowering your stress, that ninth house reflects not only religion, not only international travel, not only higher knowledge, but this idea of how our spiritual beliefs, and I'm going to say spiritual beliefs, but it could just be beliefs, your conscious beliefs about the self, about the connection on earth, how that is used in the physical reality. And there's some structure and some discipline coming in there. And then with Uranus going in your 11th house about your network, the people that are around you, there's a lot of changes that took place there. The people that were in your life are no longer in your life. The people that you value because they valued you for your creativity and for what you do. There's been some changes and some shifts in this area. And that's where Uranus is before it goes into your subconscious house of kind of working with that air energy, really honing in on the results of your day so that you could change the way that you go about these mind, thought, habits, hobbies, pets, to-do lists, all of those things. Okay, Leo rising. Let's get into this. Okay. So Pluto leaving your day-to-day habits and going into your 7th house of partnership, going into mine as well, transforming those partnerships. And that's where the Aquarius energy is. So it's all about the collective, right? It's all about the other. It's all about finding valuable partnerships with those who can see the field like you can see the field, or helping them get to the place where they can see the field like that. And with the 11th house and the 3rd house being triggered with Libra and Gemini, here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about how that affects your network, who you bring in as a partner versus who's over here on this side, just like cheering you on. This is your audience versus who you kind of align with, right? And it's all about that local community. It's all about potentially teaching, existing from, utilizing your past experiences for the collective in the partnership and in the networking section, right? There's been some growth and some change within how others see you creatively. That's what I'll call the 11th house right now. And with Uranus in the 10th house, changing your career, changing what you do all day, that even if it's retirement or if it's hobbies, changing this area of how you spend your time continuously. I know about this, right? Before it heads over to your social network to change it, you are still kind of like trying to pull in, you used Pluto in your daily habits to kind of like reframe your day so that when Pluto goes into this partnership section, you can align with the right partners on this new mission. And it tells me it might be in your local community. Now, with Saturn in the 8th house of how other people value you, there's some discipline and some structure that's taking place in this area. There's some reforming that needs to be done about deciding who values you and who you need to work with and who is mirroring your value to you and where you might need to transition or where you're going in the right direction. That's really the biggest message that I have for Leo, even being in this position myself. The place that I've really been focusing is local community, building the partnerships, getting the message out properly. And knowing that how others see the value in me is shifting and restructuring. And my career has been changing over and over and over again. I've been making so many changes. You can see it. I switched YouTube channels. I built new websites. I honed in courses. I changed, all of these directions as Uranus has been in my 10th house. And we're not done yet with the changes, but it's headed in the right direction to get those right partnerships in both the community and in the outer world. All right. Okay, Virgo. This is what you need to know. All right. Virgo rising. You've got Pluto stepping into your daily health and habits, pets, daily habits, health, hobbies, daily mindset, daily structures, what you do to fuel your day. There's this part where I have to remind you that we live in linear time. Like this body exists in a linear format. What this body does on a day-to-day basis is how it gets to the goal, right? It's all in those day-to-day practices, the structures that we define for ourselves to ensure that we can live from the highest good, where we can feel good about our decisions, where we can feel good about our health, where we can feel good about our home. And like it could be cleaning, it could be scheduling, it could be, taking time to draw, taking time to meditate. All of these little things that you do to affect your day to day matter. Okay. And with that, it's going to affect your career, which is expanding, and your values, which is all about how you value yourself. That's where Libra is. Don't find your value in people pleasing. That's not where you're supposed to go. But look at how what you do on a day-to-day basis helps with your career, and how you value yourself helps with your career, helps you really define who you came here to be. And it's a real focus on the day-to-day. So, make sure that if you get sick or something like that, it's all about learning how to value the body, how to become more embodied. Think of it from that perspective. Now, with Pluto in the sixth house, you've also got Saturn in the seventh house of your restructuring your partnerships, finding the discipline and the structure for whatever partnerships are necessary for you in this field of reality. And that can, again, include soul contracts. And with Uranus being in the ninth house, there's some changes going on into, your consciousness, into your higher wisdom, into your knowledge, into, maybe something internationally where things are shifting and changing in this direction. I do want to say something about Saturn and Uranus. Saturn is the last planet you can see with your physical eyes. And we like to think of it as like a very personal planet. A Saturn return, you'll never forget. It hits you directly. And while it affects the wave of consciousness, it's just a little bit different than Uranus. Those changes are happening in the background. You see them after they're already done. You really don't have a place to complain, change, form. Those changes happen with or without your consent. They've been planned prior to your arrival on Earth, even though you planned it. Now, if you see yourself as Virgo, you probably already think, I'm so organized. I like to be so detailed. This is kind of how you think everyone else sees you, and everybody else might see you like that, right? But with this rebellious nature of Aquarius in your sixth house, you're going to have to determine how you spend your days, okay, based completely on what works for you from this rebellious attitude of not what everybody else does, but specifically what you need to do for yourself, not what everybody else does. Don't go with the crowd. Go at it alone in this way. Be the rebel. Be stubborn about it. And do it from a place of maybe even experimentation, because you know what and what does not work for you. But it's going to really be about, everybody has to keep a planner like this. No, I'm going to keep my planner like this because this is what works for me. That's where I want you to take this energy. Also, I want you to think about your intentions on a day-to-day basis. What's the goal? What's the plan? What's the mission? Where are you trying to get to? How have you structured it to get there? And now you have a place to play within this form that you've created. And you know that form has to do something with partnerships. You might need someone else to come into this field to help you. And changing how you learn, changing how you view things, changing how you see the world, opening and broadening your mind is going to be required for this exercise. Libra rising. All right, my dear Libra. You are going to be focusing a lot in that fifth house of creativity, the manifestation that you exist in. How is it looking? What do you think about your projection field? Are you okay with where you're at? Where do you want to morph it, transition it, change it? Those are the areas you're going to experience transformation in. Again, I want to remind you that the entire reason we're here is to have an experience. The way we have an experience is through creation. When we create the fifth house, we catalyze the moment. We take our intensity, our emotions, our physical bodies, our minds, and we alchemize the energy to create more for ourselves. All right. I felt the need to mention that. Libra, your rising sign is going to be triggered because it's an air sign, and it's going to be a lot about who you are related to what you create. And it's got the ninth house in here. So it's telling me with Gemini, it's telling me there's a lot of communication about your connection to source, to wisdom, to higher knowledge, to more things, to more. You might even be living international or thinking about going international here. But there's some communication here about who you are and how that relates to what you create in this field. Okay. And it's saying that the way people value you is shifting. Okay. With Uranus in the eighth house of Taurus, this way that people see you, the way that people value you here, how you play your values out in the real world, are they working for you? The things that you say you care about, are you practicing them? You can tell by what your day-to-day habits are, what you're doing, how you're creating in this reality field. Are they working for you or not? Okay. And then Saturn is there to restructure your day-to-days. It's there to provide you with some discipline that is necessary to create properly. Okay. That is what the message is. It wants you to create in a different way. It probably wants you to bring more structure into your field. It wants you to go after goals and try to attain them, even if they're short bursts, right? But this Pluto is coming through. It's, if you follow through with these things, this Pluto is going to come through and then transform literally the projection that you see around you. That is the creative energy. It's right here, right? This is what we've created. It's going to transform this field. Good thing. All right, Scorpio. Shout out to my brothers, the Scorpio, whose birthday I forgot because I'm just that kind of girl. I don't even know what day of the week it is. He loves me anyway. He really cares about his birthday. Okay, so I got to put it in the calendar, but then I got to check the calendar. I told you I live in another reality. All right, so all about home, family, ancestors. That's what's about to be transformed with your fourth house in Aquarius with Pluto coming through there. All right. Something that you should know. How others think about you has got a lot to do with how you see yourself. And there is this level of doing things only because, don't do things because you think that other people think you should be doing them. This is kind of becoming, it's about being authentic, right? And ensuring that the results that you see from your day-to-day actions, okay, those day-to-day results bring a bridge for connection. Know that. But you have to remember that the results that you see from a day-to-day action, you have to ensure that you're doing them for the right reasons. I feel the need to say that. Okay. Something is telling me that this Pluto transition of the home and the family is a little bit karmic. Something is coming around to transform this area of your life, and a lot about how the other values you, and subconsciously how you're showing value to yourself based on how you're performing all the time, what you're doing all the time. You've got Saturn here in the creative sector within the fifth house. There's some restructuring to your form happening. And Uranus is in your seventh house of partnerships, really changing what you value in a partner, really changing what you see in partnership, who you need to partner with, who you need with this on this journey with you to complete this mission. And there's going to be some transformations to your home, to your family, to how you experience this area of your life. You are probably a little bit of a loner, a little bit of a rebel. You see it a specific way. You want everyone to potentially get along and everything to kind of work out in this balanced fashion. And I'm getting that you've got to ensure that the value is balanced. And that with Uranus transitioning your partnerships, you're kind of seeing how the field is there, who's with you, who's not with you, right? And Saturn there in your creativity, how you create this structure, this alignment, this area of your life is looking to be transformed as well in the way that you go about building the reality that you exist in. It's another one of those scenarios where I think if you're trying to be successful from this, you're going to have to be very authentic and do it from a very authentic place. But look to how you treat yourself on a day-to-day basis and what you feel from that treatment at the end of it. If you say you want to eat healthier on a day-to-day basis, you might need to bring more vegetables in. You might need to bring in more probiotics. You might want to bring in more fiber, more protein. But then if you're feeling like you're not doing those things, and then on this side you feel bloated in the 12th house, it's like, well, of course you didn't eat the things that would make you feel less bloated, right? So like the results are going to build something about what you do on this day-to-day basis. If you're doing it the right thing, the results are going to build a bridge to something more for you. And I think that's really important to say with this 19-year energy. All right. So make sure that you're doing things not from your past karmic ties, not from your family traumas, not from just because your ancestors did it this way, you have to do it this way. From a genuinely authentic place, and ensure that you know you're communicating with those who value you to feed your spirit, and go about ensuring that you are creating in your day-to-day the systems necessary for you to get the results that you want. So you need to write out the results that you want so you know what to aim for. Okay, Sagittarius, you've got this Pluto going through your third house, your mentality, your local community, your lower education, your past life, your siblings, your guides. That's where Pluto's going to be for you. And then you've got Gemini in the 7th house and Libra, the other air sign, in the 11th house. It's all about partnerships with other people who see you creatively in your community, for you to really kind of like, it's building up these belief systems, or it's redefining these belief systems. Okay. Now, with Pluto going into the 3rd house, it's going to transition your community. It's going to transition your belief systems. It's going to transition what you've learned up until the year 7 that you have to throw out. Is going to transition all of those things, right? Those false beliefs, those past traumas. It's coming in to clean this area up for 19 years. Must be a lot there, right? And when it does that, how it does that is going to be through communicating the people who are soul contractically tied to you, the real close partnerships, and the friends and the allies on the other side. They're going to serve, or the network of friends, homies, customers, social networks. These two regions are going to serve as mirrors for you to get your mind right. All right. So you want to look out into the field. You want to talk to these people. You want to communicate and build bridges here. And they're going to show you bits and pieces of your reality of where you need to clean up the field, or where the field is going exactly in your favor. All right. Now, Saturn's going to be restructuring your home still. It's going to be here. It's still in Pisces. It's rebuilding this idea of home for you, your family, your roots, your family, your roots, your home life, your family ties. And it's going, did I say ancestors? I meant to say ancestors. And then the 6th house, you have Uranus. So it's got something to do with changing your day-to-day habits. Okay. So this home life is being restructured. These daily habits are shifting and changing. All what left, leaving your value system, it really shifted what your values were. Now heading towards your mind to really get through those traumas and help you ascend to the next level. All right. There's a real rebellious attitude here. There is this, my mind is my own. It doesn't need to change. There is quick fire thinking and tons of neurons firing very quickly, learning how to balance that information out so that it serves you, so that it serves humanity, so that it's bigger than you, is going to be required. Getting past those traumas, which are going to serve humanity, potentially building a bridge for a network or an audience that will you will teach, or bringing in new partnerships who can value you from this other place. That is where this energy is. So allow these changes to continue to happen in your daily life. These are things you have not been able to change, but they just changes keep happening. And keep bringing in the ideas of how to restructure your home, getting comfortable here. It might not feel as comfortable here as you want it to, but allow the birthing to take place. It's for your highest good. Okay, Capricorn. You didn't had a time, baby, okay? Because you had that Pluto right up in your first house, changing how just everything about how people see you. I know some my bestie's Capricorn, another bestie that's Capricorn. She didn't have a rough ride, okay? And it was all to bump her around, to move her around, to smooth out the edges, to get her to a place where she could value and see herself from a higher perspective, all right? Now, you've gone through a lot of challenges with Pluto coming through your first house, shifting how everyone sees you. Are you a victim or are you a victor? You said victor. I know you did. All right. So, you are now dealing with Pluto going towards your values. How you value yourself is going to be questioned. It's going to be transformed. This might be an area where you feel you are lacking, and it's going to transform the way you see yourself in this reality based on how others value you, and you value yourself. I'm sorry, how you value yourself. How do you know you value yourself? Well, for instance, when you value yourself, you do certain things for the self, irregardless of how other people feel, because you have to choose the self first most of the time, right? So it's saying like, I got to go to bed at 9. I don't care if my homies want to party because I know I got to be up at 6. I value my sleep. I value how I'm going to feel tomorrow. So I have to do this. It might be even just like, I got to stop drinking, or I have to, to feel how valuable or worthy I am before I start dating. Those kind of things will come in and transform. With your air signs being the 6th house of your daily habits, and you've had an expansion here with Jupiter. So like a lot of your daily habits have expanded. Could be pets, could be more responsibilities, could be a job. And it's triggering your 10th house of Libra. So it's all about that, this idea that your values and how you spend your days are going to be very important for your career. So make sure you're doing what you want to do every day and that you're having fun with it, or you're going to have to change it, okay? Because you're going to be really seeing, you could be taken advantage of with your Pluto going through there to teach you a lesson of how to value your time, all right? Now, you've got Saturn in the 3rd house. It's really about restructuring the mindset and releasing these false beliefs about the self. It's really about putting maybe some structure in your community somewhere so that it works for you. And then you've got this 5th house of creativity with Uranus and Taurus, changing this earthy sign for you, changing this way that you create in this field. Change on Earth is hard because it could show up as hurricanes and tornadoes just as much as a field of flowers, right? And the whole point is to rebuild the creative sectors around you, the way that you create and what's in your creation. A lot of moving, a lot of redecorating, something like that. What's in your creative field for you to work with. It's going to be, these are the areas that you're going to see a lot of attention on for the next 6 months, but you're really going to be focusing on your values, and it's going to affect your career and what you do every day. So make sure that you are, as you go through your day and you put your habits into place, make sure you're aligning with them and that you're enjoying what you're doing, and don't just do it because you feel like you have to. Find ways to enjoy it, or find things to enjoy. Okay. Aquarius, it's all about you, you. All right. You got Pluto going through your first house of I am. Who did I come here to be? Pluto says it's going to take me 19 years to to transform you. Okay. That's a big transformation. That's going to be a mighty transformation. Remember, it all happens through time. Pluto gives you like a year and a half in each degree. So it's kind of gentle, right? It's not as harsh. So, but there are going to be things that come into this field that transform who you are as a person. And you've felt some transformation when you had Pluto in your 12th house anyway. It was a rocky, hard place because it was based on like, what am I doing in my day-to-day life that's hurting me or harming me or helping me? And you got to see that through experience of transformational experiences, right? That means that these experiences aren't small, they're big. With Pluto going into your first house, and you've got Gemini ruling your fifth house and Libra ruling your ninth house, again, how you create from a conscious place the creations that you put into the reality field. You create also with your mind. Your mind is all the fifth house, okay? All creation that you see in this reality field, everything you see, taste, touch, smell, and hear, that's your creation. Comes from here. Get your mind right. Get your mind right and consciously consider, consciously create. That's how you create consciously. You go through your life not reacting, but responding. To react the scene. To respond, to be responsible in the way that I move forward. Controlling the emotions, controlling the mind allows you to be a conscious creator. Being a conscious creator means it's all up to you what you want to create, okay? And you're going to be consciously creating the self, rebuilding the self with these ideas in mind. Libra in the ninth house is all about, this is your higher wisdom coming in. This is your connection to source coming in. Again, I'll say international travels because you do see a lot of people who live overseas or go on a trip with things happening in the ninth house. But that is because international means abroad. It means more. It means wisdom. It means expansion. It means getting out of your comfort zone and seeing how other people exist, right? It can be international travel can be very humbling and very educational and brings a lot more information into the field, regardless if you live there or if you visit there. This is all about wisdom, all right? Divine wisdom from source comes to you this way. How you use that wisdom to create is important. How you use that wisdom to determine who you want to be is important, okay? You've restructured your values. You've been saying, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. I don't feel like that anymore. I'm better than that. I can do more than that. Good job. That's important as you do this. If you've answered your questions correctly and you haven't beat up on yourself, then you're going to morph into the person you really want to be, right? And then you've got Uranus going through your fourth house. So there are changes afoot in the fourth house, okay? If you've been looking for a home, if you've been having a lot of changes in your family, if you have been trying to connect with your ancestors, this change is in place. Uranus is not leaving until 2025, but give it some time, all right? Thinking of Bestie's looking for a house. I'm going to tell her about this because she was going to put an offer in this week. Okay, so values, home, how you consider home, what you consider home, who you are consciously creating, how you are consciously creating to create who you are, because who you are only your actions and nobody else sees anything else. They don't know how you thought about it. They don't know what you think about it unless you tell them. They only know what they see, right? And with the first house, how people see you is the point of that house. So people only see you based on what you do in the daylight. They gossip about what you do at night, but they only see you by what you do in the daylight. How are you being the change you want to see in the world? That's what I'm going to leave you with. All right, Pisces, it's on you now. Here we go. Ooh, you've had Saturn in the first house. All right, let's get to Pluto. Pluto's going into your 12th house. This is subconscious, where you feel trapped, where you feel free, where you feel like people understand you, where you don't. How you feel about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, and those results. If your mind feel good, if your mind don't feel good, all of these things are Pluto transferring through that 12th house, deciding, you know what, I need to work out every day. You know what, I need to eat healthier. You know what, I should do something artistic every day to bring in more creativity. You know, those are the things that are going to happen. You're going to really start experimenting with and transforming this area of your life. All right. Now it's connected to the 8th house of how other people value you and the home. Okay. 4th house in Gemini, a lot of communication about the home. Look less to how other people value you to determine who you want to be on a day-to-day basis, and focus it a little bit more selfishly towards who you actually want to be. Okay. With it being Libra, and I haven't said this, but Libra is the South Node. I've just put it into my advice, but I want you to really consider, if you're doing it for other people because you think that they will value you if you do it, you're not doing it for you because you value you for doing it. Okay? I don't know how else to say that. Where you are performing functions on a day-to-day basis that do not align with your values, that align with the values of others, will be transformed either easily or messily, you decide. You've got some structure coming into who you are. You're not the same person that you used to be. You're transforming this area. You're bringing in discipline. You're bringing in structure. You're bringing in some sort of form. Okay. And it's got a lot to do with your mindset that shifted and changed. It's no longer where it used to be. Change your mindset. Look at those past traumas. Look at those past beliefs. Determine if they're serving you, if they're not. If they aren't serving you, you'll see them in the 12th house. They'll show up in your reality field as either mirrors or experiences. That's where the transformation is going to happen. Okay? How other people value you is an illusion. You are already valued. You are valued at the most highest level. Don't focus here. It doesn't bring real value. That's not real value. Real value comes from how you value you and all the things that you want to do. Now you've got the Chiron wound here with Aries. That's why I'm saying this. So you might not see all of your values. You need to seek your values. Okay? You need to seek what makes you, gives you this divine spark, and you need to start moving in that direction and what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, because you got dreams and goals and ideas of what you want to do on this earth, and you won't be able to bring them into form unless you are changing your daily habits to fit into that form. And you can't change your daily habits to fit into that form if you're only doing things that other people want you to do. Right? Okay. This is where I leave you. This was 2 videos because of my timing. I need an app that lets me record as long as I need to. This is why I was going to start doing lives, because then I can just keep going and going and going and going and going and then download the video. But either way, if you'd like to book a session, you can do so at the link in the bio. They take me about a week and a half to prepare. So I always like to get my scheduled bookings at least a week in advance so that I can pull all of your information and dissect it and have so much information for you when we sit down, trying to get you to your mission, trying to get you to fulfill your highest expectations and desires. These are quick astrology readings that I pull off. I don't even keep notes. I just make little circles and shapes in here so I know where I'm going. Not the same as an actual reading. If you hire me as a consultant, for instance, you get a book on yourself. That book you get is all of who you are, with places for notes for our meetings. We really fine tune, refine, answer questions, look for more questions to delve into what your mission on earth is, how to align with your highest timeline so that you can keep winning, keep pushing out desires, keep fulfilling them. Okay? This is Candace, Course in Miracles, Course in Miracles. This is where I leave you. If you have not seen the lives, workshops that I have coming, I have the yearly astrological report, and then I have a workshop for my course, Manifestation Mastery. I think that's, Manifestation Mastery. That's a lot of words I've been saying today. Both of these workshops will be held live, answering questions as I go through very key information about manifesting, very key information about 2025. 2 different lives. You can find both of them at the description. They are scheduled already, so you can subscribe and be notified to show up for the live. They're free. That is all that I have for you today. I hope you stuck with me. Listen to everybody. There's key little nuggets in all of this information that I like to add, and it all affects you because you are all of the charts. You're one whole natal sign, okay? So every little sign is yours. It all belongs to you. Have a fabulous day. Peace.